Right, good. We're up and running. All right, you want to talk about the cues? All right, figure it out. Real quick, first I'm going to put all these levels on the chart that I need. There we go. Spot it up there. Let's expand it. You want the cues. What's your question on the cues? Can it break consolidation? All right, you got to understand that in the market, anything can happen. It can break consolidation. It could rip up by double from here. Today it'll end up as 1,000. You don't know. It's the market, right? Don't ever underestimate it. It could do anything. It could go up. It could go down. As far as patterns are concerned, it's just stuck in an area. Oops. Where is it? There you go. It's all just
Is
a big
Powell talking today?
I
Is
don't
that
know.
what's happening?
Let's
Said
take a look.
some economic news, but I'm not sure what it is.
He was on the schedule for I think 8:40 this morning. Yeah,
Okay.
8:40. I don't know if
Oh, he already started.
started, but I don't know if he still is speaking.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Thanks. Yeah. So 8:30, 8:40. Yeah. Okay. We have 9:15. Some production numbers come out. We have 10 o'clock business inventories and housing market data at 10. And then at 1 p.m. some other stuff. Okay, so at about 10 o'clock, things might get a little tricky. Before that, we know everything that's going on. Before the market opens, most likely Powell will be done. I don't think that guy has a lot of stamina to stand on stage for that long. And yeah, whatever else will be done before the market opens. Just want to make sure. Okay, what we're looking at 10 o'clock is business inventories and NAHB housing market index for May. It says it'll have some impact, but I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced that these things will have a huge impact on the price action today. Maybe the housing stuff. Anyways, we'll keep an eye.
Avi, can you please take a look at Amazon first and Apple next? Amazon, I'm looking for shorting from the level. I see some bearish activities in Bookmap and Apple as well. And both of them have 30 minutes, 8 a.m.
Yeah, I see what you see. Amazon looks good. Looks good for that short. You can see a big run up. You can almost see a bit of a head and shoulders pattern, actually. It's not too bad. This shoulder, you want it to be lower, but no big deal. You can consider it here. Also, on a smaller time frame, you have the down move and the consolidation ready for the breakdown. The more it hits itself on this level, the more likely it is to break down, which is the case right now. And then you're going into this low. You want to just be careful with a little bit. This low, you want to really be careful with, but the target's really down there around 204.96. So that looks good, yeah.
Amazon's order structure, the market structure certainly is bearish right now. So it looks quite nice. Good morning.
Nice. Morning, Thor.
And Thor is getting for breakout as well, I guess, on the Amazon.
Yeah, we'll see what happens on it. Right now, I'm really interested to see what happens on the SPY today. The market with Jay Powell bringing in his love. He always sprinkles his love into the market at some point in time. I'm actually a little surprised with the lack of reaction. So I think it'll be really important to kind of see what we get at the open and not get too committed to our ideas and until that happens. But it'll be interesting to see what we can do. So I was trying to listen to what he was saying, and I was just like, I can never understand what this guy says. I'm not smart enough for this.
Yeah, he's no fun. But we have Apple, same idea as you guys were talking about. Basically, push down, consolidate, ready for the breakdown. But again, wait for the price action to confirm anything. Like Thor just said, don't marry your ideas. Wait for the confirmations.
If we go into an interesting squeeze first, I kind of like Google up around between 169 and 170 for a potential opportunity. If like we just kind of go into a weird squeeze at first and then we get a failure later or something, that could be a good one. So got some fun stuff to look at today.
Nice. All right. So I got my eyes here on the SPY. I'm definitely not going to go long. If it goes long, I don't want to get it caught up into yesterday's choppy action. If it breaks yesterday's high, that might be later. That's my area of interest. Also, if it breaks below the 8 a.m. range, pre-market range effectively, that's an area of interest for me, potentially short. For now, where it's about to open, like I'll sit out for a while. And we got this low here. I'm just going to mark it just because there's support right there. This is interesting price action. You can see on the green line, this was resistance. You got a breakout. Looks like a retest of that breakout on a much bigger perspective. So again, price action that I typically like to see. Consolidation, breakout, stuff that it's very, very common to get opportunities on that every day. So anyways, it's going to be slow to begin with. What else we got? Hey, Brendan's in here. What's up?
Hey, Avi.
I think he's running some co-pilot for us. We're getting some quick ads into this room right now.
Brilliant. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we'll get the whole crew in here before you know it. Half of BBT is in here. All right. So, guys, we have about 10 minutes to the open. There's nothing on my mind. So if there's anything you'd like to discuss, let me know. Otherwise, I'm just staring at the sunset out the window. It's quite pretty. It's the only thing that I really care about. So.
I know you don't like PLTR, but that could be a good fade from 130 maybe, or below 127.
I love your short bias, man. Every day, you just want to short everything, huh? It was Tesla for the whole month. You're shorting it every day. Now PLTR.
Another perma bear. Someone from my own heart. It's like 90% of my trades are short.
I actually played Tesla both ways. It was pretty good.
Whoa, enough of that talk around here.
I'm a major perma bear. When I first started, all I did was short. When I first started out, I loved it.
100%. Every market maker I've ever, it's kind of like when you're on the everyone says the same thing when you're out there. Every market maker says the same thing. Stairs up, elevator down, stairs up, elevator down. And I'm like, why grind through the stairs when I can just take the elevator and be, so it's like AMD yesterday was perfect. I hit, my first one, just that quick pop in the morning, got 4R on that. And then I got short on it and then just held all day. And I ended up tagging the low of day at my target on the other one. So, and it's just not even really that much work, really, just kind of just hanging out. And it was like, this is nice when it works this way.
Awesome. I love those two. You get in and then it gets away from you quickly and then you just leave it alone.
Yeah, yesterday was a really good day. I hit 2 on AMD and then I also hit a really nice short on Dow Jones. I hit the top of that and it sold off most of the day. I loaded all 4 of my accounts futures wise. I was full risk on all of those. So I had I think I made around 6 or 7K by the time I was done yesterday. It was one of my better days I've actually had in quite a while. It was nice.
Nice.
I mean, it's not Avenatti money or anything like that. I didn't drop there's not like 300K or, $500,000. I didn't go buy a plane and a motorcycle today or anything.
Oh, good. A good hold, man. Good. To make big money, you got to sit on it for a while. That's how you get 10 and 20R. Otherwise, you don't get that in 3 minutes. It takes hours to get there. So that's how that works. We got questions in here, guys. UNH. Roger, you want to look at UNH? What do you see? Is this thing in a catalyst? Looks like it is. Yeah, big old reverse ABCD. I see a breakdown happening now. So ideally a pull up and a retest of the breakdown near the open. You might get something good over there. So you can look at that. I think, Nassim, you were looking at PLTR, right? Did we go through it?
PLTR is actually an interesting, it's a little interesting. So so PLTR to me looks like it wants to sell off on the order book. We have very little market structure between 128.50 and 130. So as of right now, it doesn't look like the market maker's algorithm is offering very much into that area. Obviously, the open can change everything. So right now, it looks like we're going to lead towards 127. I do like that we have an S4 down near 127. However, in a higher range, that's probably counter trend. And then if we're on the daily range, we just hit our monthly selling range. So I think it's quite possible. Yesterday we hit the monthly selling range. So this could be a nice one for a decent sell today if it happens. We have a lot of bid down there. So it could be a fun one. So especially for those perma bears. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. Awesome.
Thanks, Thor.
So Thor, we got a little bit of feedback from some of the other guys. They do want to see your screen, but let's make sure we let
Nope.
everyone know
Sorry.
that you can unpin or pin whatever you want to see, and especially that book map stuff. Thor looks at that. I just look at candlesticks and plain stuff. So, but when the screens pop up here, guys, you can unpin or pin what you want. So it's all available to you to see what you want.
Presenting, coming at you, coming hot. So me personally, I just pin the screen of Avi's face. That's the only thing I on my screen.
I'm gonna go make my hair, dude. What the hell?
Dude, hold on, let me get mine.
Oh dear.
All right. Anything, get everyone laughing a little bit this morning, have a little bit of fun. So we got about 7 minutes till the open. So I mean, we're market's doing its thing. I'm with you on kind of on SPY and waiting to see. I need to mark my I need to mark my Avenacci lines on SPY. You know the high is exactly pre-market high right now already.
Actually, don't have to add much. We look at this highs and lows for the last two trades.
Nate, you're bleeding on me.
Nate, hot mic, yeah.
Gotcha.
Just unmute yourself when you're ready. Yep.
So, because you got your high is like 586.48, and then pre-market high was also 586.48. So you just happen to have the exact same price there. Nothing to see here, folks. And then and then to your downside, you held just above your downside of 584.07, a little bit above that. So, I mean, some super obvious support and resistance areas.
Yeah.
You don't need a magnifying glass for this one, folks. So.
Yeah, this is pretty good at price action. And just for the confirmation purposes, I really would like to see SPY break yesterday's high, which is basically the high of the last 2 days. And that's when it's a ripper. Hey, that could happen quick. It could happen slow. First hour or 3 hours later, I have no idea. But that's where I'll really put some risk on, just based on structure, 30-minute patterns.
12 million.
Good morning, fellas. Can you guys take a look at CRWV Core Weaver and tell me what you see?
Crowdsource, is it?
Core Weaver.
CRWD, is that the ticker?
CRWV.
B.
V is in Victor.
V.
Yeah.
Thank you.
V. Okay, Victor. D. What is
Charlie, Richter, Wesley, Victor.
We're not flying airplanes today. No airplanes today.
Avi's like, no. When are you gonna come pick me up, man? Let's go.
Oh man, I learned to fly in Florida, so I gotta get back there. It's been a while.
We have an airport like right by my house. One that
Tampa. I know. I've flown into Tampa many times, and some of the smaller ones there too.
Well, I'm in St. Augustine now, but we got a small one up here. But you'd like it here more. It's a fun spot.
Nice. All right, CRWV. Looks like there's been a big catalyst overnight. It's on the move. I anticipate if you're gonna touch this stuff, you're playing with opening momentum, all that stuff. ORBs, lots of volatility up front. Pattern-wise, on a 30-minute, the patterns look broken. It's nothing I would touch this with. But again, if you like ORBs, 1-minute ORBs, and rising devils and angels and all that stuff, it's this sort of thing. That's what I see.
For me on this one, kind of backing Avi on that, I definitely don't see pattern-wise anything right now that's saying it's ready to do something. For me, it's in a wider range, and it's already exceeded its calculated ATR high. So I wouldn't feel comfortable getting long on this. And the order book completely empties out above like it doesn't look like it'd go any higher than $75, but that would be a really big stretch. So for me, I'd actually, since we're on a wider range and our order structure is significantly more dense to the downside, I actually look to see if this thing rallies a little bit at the open and then stuffs, and then play it back, like maybe off of 171 looks like an area of interest I could see in the order book, and then play it back in towards all the way across, like back towards PDC and then lower. So it'd be like back towards like $65 eventually or something.
Nice.
Sorry, Thor, can you please repeat your analysis for Google, especially now that it broke the previous day high?
So Google right now, the R4 play is my ideal play. So if it sets, which I would look for us to squeeze up to around 169, and I would be looking to see, since we're on a wider, higher range, if this R4 reversal sets up. That's got the best advantage. The reason why being to consider ATR, we could play, we could play from here back towards ATR low, which will be about right under S3 by the time that happens. That'll be a really nice range run there. So there is almost no topside potential. ATR high is right here. So I really like the idea. We have already started selling though. So if we sell pretty aggressively, I may just wait for it to come back to 163 and see if it becomes a buy there. Either way, we're on a wide range today. So whenever I'm playing wide ranges versus narrow ranges, I'm kind of thinking this. On wide ranges, I'm thinking back towards the inside, right? On narrow ranges, I'm thinking about playing away, right, or out. Right, so on a day like today, most of my plays I'm going to be picking will be back towards the middle, unless something really gets weird.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. In the chat here, if all you're seeing is my face, that means you've pinned my face. You got to pin the chart, the screen.
I know I told you that's what
it.
I do, but you really should, I mean, you want to see.
I don't recommend it.
I mean, it is such a lovely, I actually set it as my wallpaper yesterday, actually.
Shut this camera off. Abbott, what is this, a strip show?
We're going to open here in 30 seconds. You're welcome, people, for that concentration buster.
There we go. We got people here. Amy moving to Florida. All right. I know a lot of people in here are in Florida, so we'll all go to Florida. What else we got?
I mean, Boca, Thor.
There you
Oh,
go.
nice. No, it's not a bromance. It's just what happens in hot tub stays at hot tub. That's all I'm saying. That's all that's happening. Vancouver, some crazy times. All right, ding, 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 people.
Here we go. Well, let me know what y'all want me to look at. I'll just pop it up on the screen. All I really want to watch is a spy. If anything else y'all want to see, let me know.
Well, it looks people having trouble, to get your screen on because it's like it remains very small, but there's no way we can enlarge it. We'll see your montage and everything, but there's no way we can enlarge it.
When you hit the pin button, it should enlarge. And also near the bottom, you should have an option to adjust the view of how you want to see things. You want to see it as a tile, you see everyone, or just a few things, or just one thing. All these options are right here. I'm able to see them within the screen here.
Yeah.
Fair amount of buying coming in at the open, but it is noted that the buying was relatively well absorbed. So that it was a good amount of buying, but the market makers did not elect to go up with it. So just kind of see what happens when they go up to the highs here. If there's good buying here and they press up, that should be a nice signal that they're at least going to. I'm hoping we rally a little bit right now on the SPY, because that'll get everything into a better spot. We're coming right off of the buying area on SPY. So algorithmically, this is a good spot to be buying right now. Yeah, there we go. There's a nice little pop on the SPY. So you can see here, big, green dots coming in. So market level buying is hitting the tape right now, and the algorithm is electing to go to the DOM with it. So that's pretty healthy as far as like a buy. What we don't want to see is like a really large sell that drives the price down. But you can see even down here, we're not really bringing in order structure here right now. So we look like that was a pretty solid start to the buy there.
Somebody was asking about UNH. There's a lot of weakness in that right now. So again, momentum trading. If you caught the ORB about 30 seconds ago, you'd be interested in this going down.
I'm in short.
There it is. Yeah. Again, all momentum. So you're in with a tight stop and you're partialing out quickly, de-risking very quickly. Watch the momentum. The moment it goes against you, you're out of there.
All right, I was carrying a little position in ES through the open, so I just cut that. That was nice. Just nice little pop there. So got our lunch money in there, so got those bills paid. Now we can have a little fun, see if we can do something sketchy later. You ever do that, Avi? You get a nice little just comfort trade, you kind of get up going, and then now, it's like, maybe you load a little bit more on the next one, or are you just like balls all the time? You just get in there and do it?
Oddly enough, my comfort trades are if I get a trade early in the first 15 minutes, I don't go very big early, but if I lose those, that's when I really switch on and I get very aggressive and I wait for a really good setup, and I'm more willing to, I don't know, somehow I get more switched on, more sharper.
No, so I think that's a
Doing
performance
that.
metric everyone really needs to pay attention to, right? This is something that's really like, right up there with, like, you got to think about, like, who do you want in the pressure situation, right? You want the person who wants the ball. You know what I mean? Like, who is it that when the pressure's on, they want the responsibility, they want to take it on? It's a performance mentality. So, and obviously, when a lot of us, when we get put under that pressure, if you listen to like Dr. V and all them, she talks about the amygdala hijack, right? Where all of a sudden you're just completely in your head now. You can't concentrate, you can't trade, you can't do anything. Avi's managed to tune himself so that when he gets under that pressure, he actually focuses more into that. Now, I'm actually very much the same way. Like, if my first trade and my second trade is sloppy, I call it going 0 to hero. All of a sudden I hit my third trade, and then all of a sudden, boom, fourth trade hits. Then, it's like all of a sudden I'm rocking. It's like, but I had to be under that pressure a little bit to make that work. So.
Yeah. It's like that, zoom that out a little. I think for me, the first 2-3 years was all losing money. And I'm still like, that switched me on a lot. And that was years ago. So I'm still very switched on from that momentum. Again, bigger perspective. Again, that's the learning curve, guys. You pay your fees, but you realize you cannot afford to be sloppy in the market. You got to switch on. That's how you survive and then thrive.
Survive and thrive is a fact.
Yep. So there you go, guys. UNH hit a level, an obvious level, because it's an Avi&Avi level. There you go. That's where you get out. If you don't believe it, look at the chart. There you go. Even on momentum stuff.
No, these are those kind of things. I've been watching these things hold this way. Like, I don't use these particular levels as much because, they actually are part of what the cams end up being. It's all in the same matrix. It's just how do you see it? But I've been watching these levels since 2018, maybe. And they have been working, because I think that's when I started using DOS, and they have been working since then. So never underestimate the Avi&Avis. At your peril.
Love it. It was tin foiled and add the measured move. We call it Avi&Avi. It's really the same thing.
Yeah, I like the Avi&Avi's way better. I was kind of into Fibonacci myself, but I'm just kidding.
That'll be V.
I'm just kidding. Whenever you write your book, your cover has to be like the Fibonacci guy or whatever. That's like this. He's like spread out with his arms on the circle thing, but it's your face.
Put myself in the middle of the indicator.
That's a big thing.
Oh gosh. Writing books. I don't have the patience to write an email. Forget about writing books.
You can get a ghost.
Yeah, I know. So many people have told me I got to take the summer off and do it.
No. You can get a ghost to do it, man. Like, get like, even if it's just, get some, you can talk to, there's places that'll do it, or you can, talk to like get like a really strong mentee that's kind of aware of it and say, hey, I'll toss you a bone if you write this out for me. Just do the legwork.
Sounds all right. I have to think about it.
Just saying, man. You got good stuff. Gotta share it with the world.
Step by step, huh?
Yeah, it's a lot. Mine was like, started off, Andrew was like, man, you got to write a book, and I was like, I started it. It was just all of my webinars, and I just started putting it in. All of a sudden, I was like, what do you know? Now this thing's getting a little heavy. Let's see here.
Breakdown. UNH, guys, ready for that breakdown, it seems. Low of day. Watch it right here, right here. There it goes. No, yes, new low. Not really, not there. Almost. That pattern to my eyes looks decent for continuation, continued move down. If it really overcomes the buyers that were at the bottom of this wick at 933.
Oh,
There you-
250 is really heavy
There you
with
go.
laddering towards 250.
Yes. There you go, UNH. And you
Oh,
got
yeah, we're in a lower range too under S4. This is a total trending breakdown territory right here. This is nice.
Mm.
I like UNH. That's a good stuff, buddy.
mm,
I would have loved to have sold that pullback to 269 like 40 when it came right back there. My level's right at 270. That would have been perfect.
very nice. Very nice.
Y'all picked good tickers.
Swap, and guys who want to see the screens, you got to select which
Yep.
screen you want to see.
Unpin
watch
mine
everything.
and then go find his and pin it, and it gets bigger for you. I'm a little jealous of Ant-Man's setup. I like his screens. I was just scrolling through everybody's stuff.
Nice. And Thor, we got a question here for you from Alejandra about your DOS layout. Where do you find it, or TOS layout if you have it? Where can it be found?
The unpin, but you can't find obvious screen. I don't know. You'll have to go look, man. It's in there. I know it can be done. I know it can be done. We others have done it, so I know we can do it. But it's they get there. So if you're in the DOS room, all of those things are available for download. Not DOS, Bearable Traders. All of that stuff is downloadable in there. I can share the TOS one because I'm not in anything right now. I hit that ES trade, so now I'm just allowing my ADHD to run wild in here. So let's see here. Let me just go ahead and share this for you.
Real quick, guys. Google also very good trending move to the downside again. Got to the level, tight little consolidation, and then a pop down. So level to level looks good on Google. Short. And your target is 163.19. Again, watch momentum. It's still early in the day. But there you go. A couple of good little movers so far.
I base Google short based on the 30 minutes pre-market. If you look at, I know it's a giant candle.
Yeah, it's there. Yeah.
Yeah, I know that the previous one was giant, but I see that there was a lot of pressure pre-market, so I shorted.
Nice. Good catch. Again, watch the momentum. It's not an ideal naked trading setup that I like to look at, but it's there. It's all
And I
there.
short Amazon one level full, and I exited. But I wish there was the option pre-market, but it's just one full level. I just shorted. Worked.
Amazon.
The one that we discussed. Right at the open.
Yeah.
Short to the bottom, exit. Done.
Nice. Nice.
Just 1 minute. I knew that I have to exit.
Yeah, you got to exit. You know these things, right? Momentum. Yeah, it
Yes,
broke
yeah.
down. It didn't give you the retest, but you still got in the momentum.
Yeah.
And what's interesting to my eyes, again, is these highs are getting lower. You have the first minute, then you have minute 35, 9:35. That is a lower high. So that to me is encouraging, just kind of telling me keep an eye on the bears. Looks like they may take over. You do have the low of day. That's the key area, I think. Once it breaks there, if it gets there and breaks there, I think there's a good opportunity. Not a level play, not the levels that I use, but just price action stuff. That is interesting. And Tesla is very interesting as well. It's a big choppy mess, but you can see what it's doing at levels. And what I like about it truly is the consolidation, pretty well-defined consolidation in the pre-market with the levels. So a break either way would make sense. I prefer the downside because price action to the downside looks a lot cleaner than the price action to the upside. That's yesterday's range up there, which was messy. If you're getting into that, you can expect it to be choppy. But that breakdown, perhaps a little later, perhaps in a few minutes on Tesla is interesting. It already broke low of day. It seems to be holding below 4 now. Something to keep an eye on.
Hey, got some more trouble in here. I got my I'm pretty sure my buddy Nathan just came in. What's up, buddy? It's a party in here right now.
Dude, I told you it's my two favorite boys.
Yeah,
Together.
how are you not on the powder right now? Because for some reason it's snowing in like this time of year at where you are, but whatever.
Yeah, we've probably got like a good 6 inches out there. Not to say that I won't today.
Cool, man. Cool, good to see you, man. This is a party in here now, Avi. Let's do this.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Well, I'd love to be on the slopes right now. Hell yeah, let's go snowboard.
Avi, you need to talk Thor into joining one of the your Friday sessions
Oh yes,
afterwards.
that's more like a real wild after party. Yep.
All right,
Then to be a real
I just got
party.
interested.
That's tomorrow. Bring your cash. We got poker.
That's right. Bring it all.
Oh, I'll just if I just send you the money in advance, can I just play? So there's a lot of things I'm known for, my ability to lie and not like I'd be like sitting there with a good hand, like
Oh,
Well,
gosh.
I'm just like an ATM. I just keep joining the table and giving more to the pot.
You ever see that thing with a guy in Dubai who's logging into a slot machine and he's using his bank account as he's like logging into it, like right in the casino, and he's like, and I was just like, this is my gambling account.
Awesome.
I was
Guys,
like,
Google here is again interesting. I see the breakdown happened, and this to me could be the retest as it pushes up and testing that previous breakdown. That could be the big short if that happens. Otherwise, it goes the other way, goes back up. But this is an area where I'd be interested as far as price action is concerned.
yeah,
Just like
I
that
want it to
group.
be lower for a buy. So I'm with you here, Avi. I think we're going to retest previous day's close around 165.37 is previous day's close. Our order book actually looks better back towards 163, and the volume's been dropping as we've been going up. So I'm with you 100% on this being like a, if you're thinking an ABCD kind of or a lightning bolt kind of pattern, whatever you guys like to do, this is that pullback area that you're looking for. So now whenever we make like a new 1 minute low or something like that, do you see volume increase on the sell as we come through it? If so, might have roped in that algo. We'll have some fun with it.
Mhm. Very interesting. Yeah, let's see what it does here. Key point, key area.
Go kiss the king and see what happens.
What else?
MSTR just alerted. I always hate the spread on this one. No, it looks horrible.
So guys, real quick here on the SPY, the setup is really good for the way I trade breakouts. I would like to get a long through the level, as in it's hit itself on the level a couple of times and it consolidates up here. It's kind of doing that now and then a breakout. That is a setup I would take almost every day. But the only reason I'm not going to take this one here is because going into this area, you can see what it tends to do, what it's done. The last times it was here, it was just a disaster zone. So I don't want to be playing with a trade that's difficult to manage and putting some real risk on. That's the only reason keeping me out of it. So again, the style I trade, the fractal pattern setups, it also tells me, doesn't just tell me where to enter and exit, but also how likely is it to be a smooth trade or a choppy trade. And it's a good setup for an entry, and the target's far out, so RVR is okay. But it's likely to be a mess. That's the whole reason for disqualifying the opportunity. So again, I did the webinar on this a couple of weeks ago, guys. Those recordings are there if you want to see. But this is a very good example of the setups there, but it's likely to be a mess. So no go. And there goes Google. Now that retest complete. The way I trade, I would have entered about 10 seconds ago. Then you want with the stop above, and you give it a chance. So good stuff. Ooh, NVIDIA now as well, breaking down.
Yeah, see, look. I mean, it's exactly what we were saying. Look at that. Look how it went up, and look, now it started to sell, came away from PDC, and there's just the volume, and then the new low, a continuation of sell. Book was better to the downside. The reoffer was weak back into PDC. So that, I mean, that totally makes sense. That's an A+ Avi style right there. I like that one, man. That would have been a good one. Hopefully some of y'all were that are in. I don't trade in this direction in this range, but it was a very ideal setup otherwise. I'm going to watch it down near S3 and see if we find our buyers down there and maybe play the other way. Maybe depends on when it gets down there. Like for instance, if it starts making a new low of day after 10:30, I won't reverse it no matter what range it's in. It just doesn't make any sense statistically. I think I'll actually show you guys. Check this out. Edge. you guys ever get a chance to use this fun little program called I use called Edgeful, and it's a stats program. If you're into like running like why did it pull that up? Hold on 1 second. Now it's not being cooperative. There we go. So you can pull up like any ticker in here. You can actually load like some of your plays into it and back test against their data pool and stuff like that, which is really cool. So for instance, I like to use this play, this stock, and then what we'll go here is we'll look up Google right now, right, which is a tech ticker. So this is going to be the same on almost any of the tech tickers. So your initial balance for the past 6 months on Google, right? So this is your 1 hour high and low. So 9:30 to 10:30, whatever your high of day is and whatever your low of day is. If you break that after 10:30, the chances of you going and breaking the other side of it is less than 10%. Right? So when you so a lot of traders, when they trade, they actually think after 1 hour is the time to look for reversals. It is not true. It is dramatically the opposite by statistical probability, right? The vast majority of your reversals are going to set up within the first hour of the day. And the vast majority of your continuations are actually going to keep working throughout the day. This is why you hold your positions once they're working, right? Because the algo's on autopilot, no reason to get in its way unless there's turbulence, right? So you just hang on and let those go because, you know, my trade AMD that I took yesterday, let me share this with you guys, is a perfect example. I even got the stat on AMD to go with it. So I held this trade all the way for a target. And even though it got this close, why did I hold this all day? Why was I willing to hold it? Because the chances of it stopping me out was less than 10%. Right? So I'm going to hold this trade all day, right? Because it makes sense not to do otherwise, right? So these are the kind of things when you start putting statistics. You don't have to be the most talented trader in the whole planet to make money in here. You can use your brain to do this too. You know what I mean? There's a lot of different ways. You don't have to be a Paris level tape reader. That dude is the most amazing tape reader I've ever seen in my life. It's like a superpower. Like, you know what I mean? I can't do that junk. You know what I mean? But I know that when I'm incentivized to hold and when I'm not, and that's by statistics.
Nice. Yeah, statistics. And that's the key thing. I like statistics too. When you really have the law of large numbers working and you have the statistics and you have the discipline then to execute according to that, that's when your winners are bigger than your losers, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And so always
Gotta
back
hold
to
'em.
right on statistics. Yeah,
Got to know when to hold them.
absolutely. Hold them, hold them, hold them. Big money's made when you let it run, always. And you need that conviction. There we go. So Tesla again in an area of interest for a potential breakdown. You see that it made a new low of day about 5-10 minutes ago. And looks like it's retesting that. If it does complete that retest, as in turn what was support into resistance, we're just around the level as well. On a 1 minute perspective, that's a good little short. So, oh, and here on Google, guys, here's one belief that I have. You have the breakdown that happened around 9:35, and that's a momentum play. It breaks out with momentum. And then when it retests, in my view, generally, that's when the bigger move starts. That's when the trend starts to set up if it's going to be in a trend. So anticipate that, you know, the retest, after the retest, it moves a lot further than that breakout moved. It'll be slower, longer, but generally that's when I get the bigger ones. So it's going to be tricky as it gets to low of day. You know there's support down there, but things to look out for. Good reasons to hold on if you're in it. Tesla is very interesting. You can see that firmly rejecting that previous low in the last 3 minutes. Interesting area. Satch, you got Google? Nice. Yeah, you're into it. Good catch. 165. Yeah, you get a tight entry there with a stop loss in the right place. Sure, you got Google as well. Look at you guys. You're all pros in here. I can't even take a trade. You guys are all, you know, making so much money. What the hell?
Not me. I got that little opening squeeze on ES. I want this lower. I want it to be so. So the reason why I want to, this actually does look pretty nice right now, the way it's bottoming. I like that the book has this void to the downside. So generically, whenever you see these voids in the book, it's a fairly decent indication that the algorithm isn't really interested in going into that area. If they're going to go in there, they'll tier orders. And you can actually see they're tiering orders up above the price right here. So as of right now, you know, it looks like they're fairly interested in going up, especially since all of the buying is lifting the price and all of the selling, right, is stagnating the price, right? So anytime someone sells, the market maker adds to their inventory. Anytime we move up, we're going to the book. This is buying, right? So now the thing we're looking for is, look here, see how they just started bringing orders into the downside to fill that gap, right? So now what we want to see is, do we get selling here and do they start dropping back in here? Because the overall trend is still obviously to the downside. We're still underneath all of our EMAs, right? We haven't gotten into the buying range yet, right? So right now, overall, I'd still feel better about being short on this. If you are long, I would consider it to be a short-term one. Because if you look above, I mean, there's really very little, seems like there's very little interest, you know, up near high of day right now. So I would need to see a lot change to feel comfortable with that. But, you know, we'll see what happens. I mean, it's a good spot. We're in the CP, so this is a big value area from yesterday. So this is why we're probably buying. Like you can see here, wick off the daily chart, wick right here. So we obviously had a large seller that we purchased, right? So that seller was 165 most likely, or around 165. So, and you can see right now we're sitting, you know, just in and around 165. So we're re-offering old premium as a new discount on the daily right now for Google. So we want to, but I want to dip a little bit lower, because if we get all the way down to pre-market low, that lets us run almost all the way to R4 still inside of ATR. And that's a really nice big run, right? I want to make a lot of money on this thing today. I don't want to just, I'm not looking for pennies here. I want dollars.
Nice. Yeah, and that's a good mindset, guys. That thing has driven me plenty. You're not here for pennies. Well, it depends why you're here. Everyone's here for different reasons, but Thor's got that mindset. I've got that. You know, whatever accomplishments you have, my thinking is always, all right, how do I make this bigger? You know, with the same risk, without adding risk. So that basically comes down to capturing bigger moves, waiting for the beginning of a trend. How do you identify that stuff? Again, that's a mindset. You always ask, what's your own motivation for being here? Why are you day trading? You know, is it a little supplemental income? You want to pay off some bills and mortgages, or you really are, you got different kind of drive for millions and stuff like that. So that really,
for me, I've never made more money when I put in the least amount of effort possible. Trading is like quicksand. The harder you try, the more you push, the more you lose. You need to be precise. You need to be like just agile, and you need to be indifferent. Like the less you care about the outcome, the better you're going to do. So, you know, you got, if you, you know, and that's the thing, before you're even putting money in the market, like if you're getting anxiety while you're taking sim trades, don't put money in the market yet. You know what I mean? It's you don't need to desensitize yourself to winning and losing with real money. You should be a robot by the time you come out of sim. Like you should just be indifferent and performing at the same time. A lot, and this is me talking from the person who did not do that, who blew up their first account, right? Because I came into the market too early, unpracticed, and decided to don't. You know, I could have just written Avi a check. It would have been easier. He would have held on to it for me. He would have given it back later. You know, but I didn't. I just burned out that whole account. You know, I could have spent $5 grand on educational material. I could have spent it on coaches and coaching, you know, and all these other things, but I didn't. You know, I could have, you know, they didn't have boot camps back then, which is why I probably didn't do so good. Wish they would have had this cool stuff when I started. But anyway, so just keep that in mind, everybody. It's, you know, you got to just be, you know, okay, you know, get comfortable with being uncomfortable. That's what we deal with here. You know, the better you can do at that, the better you're going to be.
Yeah, absolutely important. And we got a few questions here about that. Saurabh, you're asking about how do you train yourself to be indifferent? My experience is meditation. Since I started bringing that into my world, like awareness is key. Once you become aware, it's not about fighting off your emotions. It's about just being aware of them. That actually solves 90% of the problem. You know, and then you become more indifferent. And we got another question about Zen. Yeah, you gotta be Zen, Mark. And there's a book on that.
We're indifferent too, for me too, right? It's accepting the outcome of it before you get into it. Every trade I go into it as if it will be a losing trade. right? Like it's you go in, okay, this is the big winner. I go in kind of looking for my losers. I'm looking to stop trading for the day, right? I know how I'm going to stop trading. It's when I hit a certain number of losing trades, and then I'm done. But if you're that way, eventually you're going to win money. If you're holding your trades quick, it's not about losing. I lose as many trades as I win. My winning trades are just 4 times to plus more valuable than my losers. So it just doesn't really matter. I don't have to be a winner. I just have to be a good loser.
Absolutely. I'm telling you guys, those are the real big parts of trading. Strategy is not too complicated. Everyone wants it. Okay, you can get it. But that's what really makes you a trader. Everything here. Being able to lose, being able to detach, being more in that Zen mindset and accepting it. Yeah, that's why we have stops before we get in. We know where the stop is. Why do we even think about stops? Well, because we know it's a very realistic thing that you could lose it. So you already accept that. Very, very important. So all excellent points here.
Yeah, and your stops are super arbitrary. You know what I mean? Like who really cares about your price? I think a lot of people like start to realize that, or they start to think like they're really getting hunted really hard. Like I was talking with a lot of market makers on Friday, like they do need liquidity and obviously in those things, but the market makers are offering the best bid and the best price. If you're willing to throw your price down there with, 500,000 other people, I mean, they're gonna go get it. I mean, it's a giant order to fulfill down there. You're creating a massive amount of pool, so this is why it's better for you to wait for it to test, hit the area. And then when it comes out of it, then you get in, because now the market maker has to do something they're not incentivized to do just to go there. So it's pretty interesting stuff when you get there like that. But
hey guys, looks like we have some activity on Tesla. Just did a breakdown, pushing back up, but this is an area to keep an eye on it. Again, if you're interested, I would never think about it long down here for various reasons, but
same.
short is there perhaps. Piyush, go ahead. You got a question, something to say?
Avi, dumb question. Are you projecting your screen?
Yes, I am. Yeah, you can pin it. If you're seeing Thor's screen and you don't want to see it, you got to unpin it.
which I don't blame you. I mean,
Sorry,
there's multiple screens. I mean, literally anyone here can share a screen, but
most of us just Avi's face, actually, the only thing pinned.
getting rid of the webcam, I'll tell you.
How do I get your
All day,
Avi?
So Piyush, you click on near the bottom right where you have this little icon of 2 people together.
Oh, that's it. Okay.
Yeah, and then you can select my presentation. If you see there's 2 people presenting, now you can click on which one you like.
All right. Thank you.
There you go. Yeah, and Brendan's in here too, helping us out. Thanks, Brendan. Cool.
Yeah, I'm wondering, what did you do the red hotkey short 1,000 shares? Can you see that your montage
Red hotkey. Oh, down here. Oh, these. These are when you actually use the montage. And when I type in particular orders that I want, range orders, stop orders, whatever it is, then I hit these buttons to execute. These aren't the keys
that's not because we just already discussed. I know it. The thing is, why did you remove the short 1,000 share button, the hotkey button?
Oh, up top. Yeah, I intentionally do not ever short anything. If I want to short the SPY, I buy put contracts. So I'm actually going long put contracts, which go up in value as the underlying goes down. So there's 2 kinds of
I have it from
SPY just bought premium pretty aggressively right there. It looks like we're going to start squeezing.
This is that breakout I was telling you guys, but I'm not going to touch it just because it's a messy place. But Pascal, I never short intentionally. If I end up in a short position accidentally, I have these buttons here to cover it quickly. But I'm only going long. If I want to short the SPY, I'll buy put contracts. So you can see on the options chain here on the right column here, these are put contracts. I'll select which one I want, and I'll go long these put contracts, which will go up in value as the SPY goes down. That's how these contracts work. So there's 2 contracts, different kinds. But I never short anymore.
I do have it from your layout, That's what
you can remove it if you want to. Right-click, remove.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Pascal, you can use that for naked call. Avi is not using naked call. And for the naked call, you need a very heavy buying power for little return. So if you want, you can use it, but he's not using it.
Well,
it's a different world.
Different world.
Short options have a different purpose. Be very careful, as Ed was saying, the buying power, it'll just tie you up and it'll tempt you into stuff. Just be careful with that.
Uh,
All right, guys. The real quick, guys, again, telling you where not to trade. I was telling you guys on SPY earlier, but Tesla as well. If you see the pre-market activity, to my eyes on a 30-minute chart, it's just a great big mess right here. So there's no way I'm going to trade inside of here because inside of here is where it's a mess. So thinking about going long down the bottom, no way. Even here,
No,
the
this
same
would-
thing with
would be
SPY.
a-
Going long here, I'm not going to touch it because it's going into a choppy zone. So it may go, it may not. I have no
Anything
idea.
Tesla's a short for me right now.
Yeah, if anything, short out of this whole choppy zone on Tesla. If anything, as tempting as the SPY is, and my setup is near perfect, it's a no-go. Just because I don't want to manage a choppy trade, choppy price action. Got a nice little consolidation right there. You got the breakout. The retest might just be happening now, and excellent RVR to the next level up, but it's a no-go. It's been a lot of that this week, unfortunately. But we'll see. It's still early. It's only Thursday morning.
Sorry, Thor, you said Tesla is a short?
I said if anything, I would look at Tesla being more of a short in this range. We're in a higher range, but we're all over the low end of the range, right? So basically, we're teetering on previous day's low, right? Which is where premium was offered on the day before that. So like for me, this is more like a potential isolated pivot on the daily, right? Big up indecision and then a potential big break back down. I would almost think I could think on the daily chart we could end up at 326.50. You know what I mean? If we fall off through the low, like if the market right now is rallying and it's not going anywhere, right? So think about what the market maker is going to use an influx of volume to move the price. Look what's happening to these green dots as there's an influx of price. Can you see what's happening? They're not moving the price up. That means the market maker is offering premium to retail right now. They're stuffing retail. Anytime someone in retail buys, the market maker is selling from their inventory. That's distribution. Right. So the market maker, it looks like and see, we just dropped the price right afterwards. So that the market maker, they could have went up. There was plenty of buying, but they didn't. The market was rallying. Everything was rallying. They could have went to all these orders, but they decided not to. Right. So when this is the kind of market activity that I'm looking. So you can see here, look, this is buying. They moved up, but then when these big dots came in, these should have screamed the price to the top side, but they stagnated and moved sideways. So they had hit some big orders here. Then they came through and so they're holding. So for me, it would be a hard. I'm kind of with, I might not be willing to short here also because it's a higher range, right? But if I was gonna play, I wouldn't play long off of the low end of this candle like this. If it was gonna be a long today, I would have wanted it to do something more like this, like open higher up here and then come down, hold, and then launch like that, right? It would have needed to open more up here and then come down to here and hold, right? So we opened too low for a valid long on this one. And since the range is narrow, you got to think so what I said about narrow ranges and wide ranges, right? So narrow ranges, we want to play away from the range, right? So we'd be looking to go this way, or we would be looking to go this way, right? Right now we're on the bottom, right? So right now we'd be looking to go this way because it's a narrow range, right? So for me, everything right now is pointing to the downside on this one. Book looks like it wants to go down. Price action is absorbing when we buy, and we're in a narrow range at the bottom of the range.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm. So it's one thing I try and kind of, highlight, like as a trader, we all have to get in, kind of lean into what we're good at in trading. And for me, I never got figured out how to trade like Andrew or Paris or, even so. I mean, these are some really high performing guys. So what I did is, you can be a race car driver, right? Or you can be a mechanic. I mean, both people are there. Both people can kind of get involved in the excitement of the game. So what I did is I went the route of really learning intimately exactly what the algorithm does and how it does it. So now maybe I can't read the tape, but I can tell when we're bidding and offering and what the algorithm does with that. And that gives me my directionality just as well. So you can find a way to get there.
Yeah, there's no right and wrong way to trade. Your trading style should be a reflection of your personality. Like I've been saying this for years and years. So, you can start with, taking examples of people who've been doing it. You got the trade books and all, but then truly evolve it. So, it suits your temperament and your appetite for risk to reward and your patience and all of those things that are in you. And that really is in you. So it's funny, you're in a way, your trade book is in you. It just has to be revealed. It's not something out there that you got to go learn. Very introspective kind of learning experience. Learning to trade, you really learn a lot about yourself too.
Oh my gosh, that is so true.
Yeah, very important.
Yeah, no one said when I showed up to become a trader I was gonna have to become a better person, like a better human in order to like be able to pull this off. Netflix, higher range. It is a narrow range, so I tend to not like playing back into range on a narrow range. But if you do, because of the narrowness of the range, you'd be looking to play all the way through, back down to like 1130, right? That'd be kind of the play that you'd be kind of looking to take advantage of. So we are close to R4. We're within range to consider a pattern setup here. Book structure wise, it looks relatively balanced to me. I see. So if you're looking kind of up here, we maybe a little bearish, but but we have buying into a bearish book. So this is kind of indicative that the market maker is non-directional right now. So I would wait to see if you get another, like you can see you got this big buy. I'd like to see another volume hit on a tighter candle to the sell side. Because right now, look, as we sell, our volume's dropping. So we haven't, that algorithm hasn't started selling yet. We need to wait on this one a little bit longer.
The question here, Jackie. No, I'm not entering long on this SPY, even on the previous, what looked like a retest, simply because going long in this area, you're going into a whole lot of mess in the last couple of days. I don't want to get involved here. So that's the reason for not being in this. Didn't even really set up a really great retest. If you got the breakout, okay, you scalp, but there's really nothing there. There we go.
Choppy. This is why I don't trade Tesla. See Tesla lower, it's in a higher range, but on the in that S4 to S3, this is why this is no play. Because this is what you get when you try and trade tickers in this range. Junk.
Waiting for so that it goes above the mess so that you enter long.
For me, it would be really, I wouldn't, Tesla's not a play for me today at all. I wouldn't touch this one all day. So for me, like if you didn't mention it, there's nothing about this that draws me to it. So I would just not be playing it today.
Bobby, would you have considered a scalp short on the SPY at your level at 585.48?
Let's see over here, 585. No, my level's at 586.48. But no, I'm not playing it inside of where it's been a mess. Again, this whole area, anywhere from 584 up to 589, this whole area is just a place I don't want to touch it. It's just nasty. If it drops down later on to about 583, and then I'll have a look at that point. Or if it gets up to about 589, then I'll have a look. But right now, unfortunately, it's opened and stayed precisely where I don't want it. It's like in the middle of a mess.
Yeah.
So just, another day to sit out and maybe take a nap or something.
My pillow day.
Yeah. I mean, this happens all the time. I'll come back 2 hours later and suddenly it's at a place where I'm interested in. This week has been that way, unfortunately. But it's all good. When you get your trade, you got to take it. And when it's not there, most certainly don't take it. That's called overtrading. Yes, hot tub time. Hey, you guys in the chat, you know all about this. Hot tub. We got sunset, hot tub. What else do you want? Beautiful day. So here's an interesting point, guys, on Google. We were talking about the taking that short, about 20 minutes ago, whatever it was. And if your stop was above the area, above the level, sure, you're still able to hold on to it. But realistically, if you're in an options trade and you're going along these put contracts, which the contracts go up in value as the stock goes in your favor, goes down, what you'll notice is while Google's done basically nothing for 30 minutes or so, you're going to find that that contract is going against you. Yeah, time decay. There you go. All right, you got it. So you guys get excited about options. You got to be very careful with options, because options are a contract and contracts have an expiry date. The closer you are to expiry, the more time decay you have. So effectively, basically, if your position doesn't go in your favor quickly, it's going against you. There's no stagnation. It just goes either for you or against you. And therefore, your entries better be really precise. Timing is important, especially if you're going 0DT options, as in options that expire today. Those are the worst. Again, you're very close to expiry. And if your timing's off, you better just cut your losses quick and de-risk it quickly. Get out of there. So those of you excited about options and all, these are things to consider. Again, this is the webinar I did on it last week, I think. Take a look at that. But this stuff is really important. A lot of people get excited about options. You don't have a lot of buying power, but you can make a lot of money. All that is true. But you have other things that will just destroy you. So please be super aware of this. I only bring this up because so many people ask me about it. So please be super careful. You wouldn't be able to hold on to this Google short in an options position, in a long put position. But equity position, yeah, you could still easily be in it and it may still go. I don't know. But, these are the differences. Be very careful.
So I haven't traded options, but why wouldn't you or what's the reason you don't push that expiry date out longer then?
Yeah, you can. What I intentionally do with the SPY, and I only trade the SPY, is go 0DT. That's today's expiry, because the price is actually more sensitive. So if it goes in your favor quickly, it pops in your favor tremendously. It moves disproportionately more for you and against you. So I'm basically loading up on more volatility. Call it leverage. Closer to 0DT, closer to expiry. If it's suddenly going in the money, that thing will massively go in your favor. It's about to expire, and it was going to expire worthless, but now hold on a sec, it's in the money just half hour before the close. The thing will jump 100%, So what I try and do is time those entries, and not just time them, but even scale them in. So the more it's going in my favor, the more I'm adding into it and try and get that pop.
So if you had a expiry date that's further out, it's just not as explosive, I guess.
Yes, it's not as sensitive. That's right. Yep, exactly. So 0DT options are ultra sensitive. So you got to be careful with those things. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Can you guys share your thought on AMD? What's it doing right now?
AMD. All right. What do we got here? Let's see. Did we look at it today? No, not yet. So to me, AMD is doing a whole lot of nothing. It's just inside of its 30-minute range, where it has been a mess overnight or in the pre-market. Decent setup for breakdown or breakout, upward or downward. Downward makes more sense, just because going upward, you have yesterday's action, a little messy. But that's all I see on a 30-minute. So it has been weak. It's just sitting there. For now, it's just a disaster. I mean, it's just a day trader's graveyard right now, right? Go sideways. You want to be want to stay away from that stuff. That's what I think for now.
Thank you, Avi.
Sure. Okay, we got a big jump on Elon Musk. Just call this ticker Elon Musk, Tesla. Something's happening here.
That's funny. Oh yeah, like it's wow.
Who did this? Who bought all these contracts? Brendan, that you buying all these call options? One of you guys did this. I know that.
Yuck.
Yeah, I wish.
Big
I still don't like it. I wouldn't have been in that, but
no. This is a disaster. You can't plan this stuff. Just
like right back to high a day. It's just yuck.
This is the dangerous part, guys. The market can move anywhere at any time. That's why you got to respect it, have your stops, and remember, there are no guarantees. Even perfect setups fail very often. So always have your stops in place. Something's going on here, though.
I haven't found any equity trades I like at all. So today just might be that day for me. I had such a good day yesterday. I might just take a little futures thing. I might do a little short on NQ here, because we keep having a lot of trouble going up on the market and offering premium. So we're kind of losing S4 on a higher range. So I might look and play this like a counter trending breakdown. if we start to roll. Like, look at that big squeeze on Tesla. Look at all that volume.
Yeah.
It ended up turning into an inverted hammer, and now we're below the lows. See what I'm talking about? That's junk right there. That right there might be a UTAD, right? So for those of you who are unfamiliar with the Wyckoff term, UTAD, that's an upward thrust after distribution, right? So the market maker's been selling off premium here. They're then going to pop up. They're going to thrust. They're going to, as they thrust up, they're going to trap a lot of shorts, which is going to throw activity into the book, let them squeeze up, hit an order, and then they start dropping like crazy. So, and look at the response to that new low. I mean, that's pretty wild to see them do it. Here we go. Look at this. There it is. Yep. Let's see what you'll know here when they crack this bottom. We get a big waterfall here. You'll know that's what. Look at the order book. Look how empty it is now above the price. Look at that. They just went up and ate these orders, and then that's fun.
Wow, yeah, that is insightful to see the history of the order book and how it got eaten up and now it's empty. That is interesting. You never get that in DOS. That's a book.
See, now look, they're gonna now 339, 340, 341. They're tearing in more orders now again. All right, they're bringing in some more, but we'll see if they bring in enough to do it again. Because this is when it gets choppy like that. They just bring in orders. They hit them, come back down, bring them in again, hit them, come back down, bring them in again, hit them, come back down. And it's just, this is why we don't trade this range on these kind of tickers, because, you're not high enough or low enough to interact with it.
Wow.
It's fun stuff.
Yeah. That's interesting. You guys are like the level 2. I mean, this is where you really get to learn it. Thor and Nathan, these guys are all over this stuff, book map and all. It's fantastic to see.
Nathan and I right now are working on a TT course, I think, and he's going through and he's actually cutting out all of these different things, like, so you can see market structure shifts and all of that stuff. So you'll have like real video examples for it and stuff like that available. So there they are. They brought the orders in, and then look, here they go again. It's so funny.
Nice.
This is Tesla. Tesla's a NASDAQ stock. I need to go to the NASDAQ. I mean, it's not really a NASDAQ.
Thor.
What's
Can you check the book map of Amazon? Just wondering, what's your opinion? I think it's a
which one?
Amazon.
Amazon, you got it.
I believe it's a short from S4 until 203 at least.
Let me let it load. It's got its own mind right now. All right. Wow. Look, that's all right. So it's been a little choppy today. So let's see. So we've been selling more than buying today overall, but most of that imbalance was created by this giant sell at the beginning, and it was actually pretty well absorbed. So we're teetering right on the edge of this kind of gap area. So they're trying to hold, and this is our monthly R4. So it's actually kind of a decent spot to buy. And you have that. That being said, I feel like the ladder structure is much better to the downside right now. But the problem is we're lacking selling volume. Right. So in order to go down, they got to have volume. Every now and again, the market maker can go down, whether the market wants to go up or not. You'll see it happen every now and then. You're going up, and as it's going up, the tape is still red, or you're seeing red bubbles as we go up. You're like, wait, I thought selling meant we don't go up. It's not how this works. If the market maker is committed to fulfilling an order, they'll take on the inventory and go get it done. But for the most part, when we move the fastest is when the market and the market maker kind of agree. So right now we've got plenty of ladder structure to the top side, and we have buying. So the algorithm is going to the book. So at least for the moment, we are in a rally right now on Amazon. So we are quite extended to the downside already, since we're in the floor pivots. Yeah, I mean, and our ATR low is at 202. So if we do start selling, I wouldn't expect to go much lower than this. And we could be pulling back now to kind of, we could go reoffer 207 again in a little bit on this one, because we've already made it through. We opened really low on this one, right? So ideally, we would have opened. And this is why kind of for this play, the ideal is kind of like to have it open, and then we want to squeeze up and then sell, because that gives us a chance to go short there, put our stop there, and then get to a target by the time it gets to here. But if it does this, and then you go short like here, you know what I mean? It's like your stop ends up being like way outside of the ATR low. So it's why, oh, there we go. That was a nice little sell right there. And they're bringing in some more to the downside. That looked pretty good for you. So I think the overall structure is still better this direction. So I feel very good about being short on this one. I wouldn't be too worried about it. I mean, if you're in it already, might as well hold. The thing you're really going to be looking for is, you know, ideally, if it manages to break low of day at any point in time, Google's one of those ones at that point you can just kind of marry at that point and just say keep it and just hold it until let it keep selling. But that's the big thing. The thing that the one stat that really helps you out here from Edgeful on that whole stat is actually this one. This is the one a lot of people really like, which is, why are you showing this to me like this, weirdo? Every now and again, the browser just saves like some random. Okay. So this is Amazon.
Thor, you cut out. Are you speaking?
Yeah, I was, but you know, it decided it was no longer advantageous for me to talk to people. So Edgeful, Dennis, is this website right here, right? And what Edgeful is it's a massive data pool. They've been collecting data for like 20 or 30 years across the market, and it's all on a server, and you can go in here and query that any way you want. I mean, there's just tons of different reports that you can run on stocks, futures, ETFs, whatever you're into. So the one that really, the stat on this one, so the IB stat is your 1 hour high and low, right? So every single day, what does this ticker do after it breaks its 1 hour high and low? So the one that's really interesting on this one is this stat right here, right? It really does, it breaks one side of it like 90% of the time. Right. So if you're in a good position and your stop is up above the high of day, for instance, right, this is one of those ones where it may be worth it just to hold on to it. You know what I mean? If it goes up and goes through high of day, stop out of it. You're wrong. But otherwise, you know, it's going to pick one side. And if it moves towards the lows away from you, you start getting pretty good chance it's going to pick your direction. And if it breaks that side, you know, now you go into the other stat, which is now it's only the same amount that it's going to go back through and break the other way. So these stats really start, you know, you're wanting to try and use these. The one that really kills me, and I love a lot on this one, Avi, you'll like this one.
This is amazing.
Watch this one. This is the good one. How often does SPY not break its 1 hour high and low?
2.5%.
2% of the time. It's gonna break, people. You know what I'm saying? So if it's going towards low of day and you're like, oh, I can't hold this position. No, this thing's like a black hole, right? When it gets down near its edges, it breaks. And then the chances it double breaks is only like 1/4 of the time, right? So if it breaks that low, it's generically going to close on that side and keep on going, right? So that's just a fact for the SPY on a day-to-day basis. It's one of the reasons you guys like playing these levels so well, right? If it sets up and it hits, it makes a directional move, you get to make some money off of it. This is why. But when you're coming off of the top, especially if you get up near Avi's level, right, and you're off the top going back towards the bottom, if that reversal happened within the first hour, you're holding this position, right? Because it makes like no sense at that point to get rid of that position. You know what I mean? And this is how you end up making, this is how you turn small days or average small days into big days. You can take small losing day, small losing day, small losing day. You only need one day like that. You can get to a point, a week, a month. I mean, SMB Capital guys make all their money in 1 or 2 days out of every quarter, right? A lot of people think, oh, I'm an SMB guy, I make money every day. No. Go have drinks with them. They don't make money like that. They hunt opportunities, trying and losing. And then on one day they make millions. and it offsets all their losses, right? Because the system works for that. So just keep that in mind. But when you're trading this, there's a reason why Avi crushes on this SPY stuff. It's a great ETF statistically for trading. You know what I mean? And especially since he's dialed in his way of trading it so well. I mean, throw some money at it. Let's go.
That's a
how
very good
often
statistic. I like it.
Show how often it tests the prior day close.
Oh,
And that
the
one
gap
that-
fill, the gap fill stat.
Yeah, that it'll at least hit the king.
Yeah, you like this one on SPY too. So if SPY opens, SPY goes back to PDC, whether it's above it or below it 70% of the time.
Closes the gap 70%. Okay.
Right.
Wow. Very
So
interesting.
it fills the majority of that gap, so, and then you can get here the percentage of how close it gets to it, right? So it feels like 50% of it, like 70% of the time, and all that stuff. It's pretty cool. So it's running per the last few gaps. Like you can see the last 5 days on the gap ups, it last 5 times it's gapped up, it's filled that gap. The last 5 times it's gapped down, it's filled the gap.
Yeah.
So you can see right now we're pretty consistent filling gaps from day to day.
Is it on the same day or a different day?
Say that again.
Is it on the same day gap fill or it's
same day?
Okay.
So the gap is the distance at the open between previous day's close and the open price. That is your gap, right? So every single day. So when you open that distance between PDC, that's going to be your gap. That gap fill is the statistic we're talking about. If we open, how often do we go to PDC? And the answer is 80%. No matter where we open, we're going to head that direction, right? So a lot of the times, if you're looking to buy a level, having that level, if it's sitting right near PDC, good reason to wait for it to come back and test you, right? Because it's going to do that. But if you're really far away from PDC and you're thinking about going long, don't get shocked, right? If this thing comes against you first, right? Because it's what it wants to do. But the higher, it works out pretty well when you start leaning into some of these stats. It can really kind of let you put in perspective, like one of the reasons why we got short a couple of days ago, even though the market was really, really bullish. Well, it was, our gap, statistics, based upon the past few days say we're going to come kiss the king. You know what I mean? So, that's Jared's whole mantra, right? Come kiss the king. You know what I mean? So you gotta kiss the ring of the king before you're allowed to travel, right? So, and that pretty much happens. We come back, we hit PDC, we engage the buyers there. If they're willing to buy old premium as new discount, we're off and running, right? So speaking of off and running, it's 10:30, people. Did that go by faster than you thought it was going to? So I gotta go make some breakfast and then be on my BBT time at 11. So I gotta get out of here. Avi, always fun trading, man. It's a good time.
Always fun. Thanks, Thor. Thanks, guys. And for my mentees, surprise, I'll be online in 30 minutes in our little group. I'll put the announcement out there now. So be there. Got an announcement for y'all. We're going to have some fun with this. Thanks, all of you guys. Take it easy.
See you all later.
Soon.
Thanks, Avi.
See you guys.